The little things. Oh, man. You
I
just
love
got
it.
well, actually.
Yeah.
Pow, 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 pow. What the fuck? That was weird. Welcome to Well, Actually, a podcast for nerds who think they know everything about fucking movies. I'm your host, Kane Holloway. Callback Kane. Kane reference Holloway. Bob Kane. Candy Holloway, the slutty comedian. All the way Holloway. End all be Kane. Oh my God. I need to talk about the little things. I have to talk about just the genius that goes into this movie. I mean, one of the funniest, unintentionally funny movies I've ever seen. Like, by the end of the movie, I was not mad anymore. Like, as the movie's ending, I stopped being mad that it was bad and started laughing at how ridiculous all of this shit was. So, we recorded our Austin Powers episode, but that's not going to be out for a week, and I can't wait that long. and we had to like kind of cut down my time talking about it so we could talk about Austin Powers because I could just go on and on. I also try to make this episode very succinct so it doesn't sound like the ramblings of a madman. But I watched this in my home, so excited, like everybody else. Everybody was so stoked for this. Jared Leto. Not so much stoked for Leto being in it because he's a fucking weirdo. But Malik, Denzel Washington, especially Denzel. Everyone's like, yeah, dog, fucking Denzel. That is the reason we're watching this movie. To watch Denzel Washington fucking solve a crime. It's a murder mystery. And so let's, spoiler alert from here on out. We're going to talk about the little things. A movie that is 70% good. 70% good is strong. 70%, oh God, manageable. I don't know a word to describe it. You're excited. You're confused. And it feels like you're supposed to be with the editing and the pacing, and there's flashbacks. And you're like, you're just, as it's going, you're like, okay, there's a nugget, there's a something here. There's a core concept that's really intriguing, and it's gonna make for a goddamn great time. It's gonna blow my dick inside out. I'm going to be so stoked, and we're going to be talking about the impact that the little things has had on the movie-making industry. And then like a half an hour before, not even, maybe even more, like 40 minutes. No, that seems like too much. We'll go with half an hour. Half an hour before the movie's supposed to end. It's just dumb. It's the only way to describe it. You're like, fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. What? What are you doing? That was me the whole rest of the end of that movie. What the fuck are you guys doing? Oh my God. So the movie opens up with a woman driving down a dark, semi-deserted highway, being chased down by some guy. And she makes some pretty smart decisions until she makes a really big dumb decision. Where she is getting chased down by this guy, she gets really nervous and decides that she's gonna like blow past this guy and hope he stops following her, but then when he doesn't, she sees a gas station, restaurant, town area where she's decided she's going to stop there and see who's there. But like as soon as you pull off, no one's there. Everything's dark. It looks closed down. Nobody lives in that area. No one's still working in the fucking restaurant. So as soon as you pull up to see that there's nobody working and nobody there to save you or help you in any way, shape, or form, or be a witness to your kidnapping and murder, get back in your car or don't even get out of your car. You could see it from the fucking camera angle going down that there is nobody there. So just keep rolling. Just keep on. Find the nearest fucking town. I mean, the safest place is your car. I mean, if you're thinking about all the safest things you can be, your car is one of them. You could use it as a weapon. But she gets out, checks to see if anybody's there. That should have been the first red flag of this movie. Where you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Get back in your car. So she leaves and then runs into the desert. And he follows her. He's having very minimal trouble finding her. She's making so much noise. And then she sees a semi-truck coming down the highway, so she fucking runs and flags him down. And she's saved. And that movie fades to black. Little things. The little things. And then we cut to Denzel, and we find out through... And I was pretty on board. I mean, I was kind of a little annoyed that she did that, but I was like, all right, whatever. She's scared, and you always think to yourself, maybe I'll be a little more rational when I'm put in that position. But who knows? You know, people make dumb decisions. So I'll give her a pass. She was scared for her life, and she didn't think she had enough time to get back in her car and fucking take off. Even though it felt like she had nothing but time. As soon as you knock on the fucking whatever. So we are with Denzel, and Denzel needs to go back. I can't even fucking remember why. He's given something to go back to L.A. for an old case. He's the only one that can go. He's like, the chief even says, you're the only one I can spare. You got plenty of cops. Plenty of cops doing the same shit he's doing. But whatever. You send the one cop who happens to have a personal connection with the evidence. You're going down there to whatever. So we get down there to L.A., and he's fucking not liked. People are not happy to see Denzel. What are you doing back here, man? Oh, just passing through. Whatever. Just got some business. Goes to his old precinct with his old partner, who is now the chief of police of L.A., and Rami Malek is the new, young, hip cop. He's a God-fearing man. He's got kids. He's got a wife. And oh my God. So everything about Denzel is a big mystery box that's going to unfold throughout the movie. They keep flashing when him and Malik hook up and they start trying to solve the crime together. And you get this sense that this is like a fucking Seven situation where you got the old, almost retired guy, and then you got the young buck coming in, being he's brash and he's got ideas of how to solve this shit. But the old guy, he's I've been around the block. Plus, even though no one likes him and no one's happy to see him, he is well respected. They're like, dude, this guy's got the eye. This fucking guy right here, this dude, he solves cases. It's what he does. And then Malik's like, well, why doesn't... Malik's fucking bug-eyed the whole time. Well, why doesn't he still work and solve cases? Why is he writing tickets in Calabasas or wherever the fuck he is? And they're just like, something went down, man. We don't talk about it. which means you're going to find out later. And you go, all right, I'll just wait, which is fine. I don't need shit spilled out. I don't need it spelled out for me. You know, that would have ruined it if you were just like, well, let me tell you something about this guy. And then they just fucking dump all that shit. But you realize that this is going to be the thing that is going to, when it all is closing in, you kind of get throughout the movie, they keep unfolding. They keep cutting away to this double murder that is very similar to the murders that are happening now. That is the reason for Denzel leaving. Like we meet the mortician that works in the morgue for the police department, and even she was in on what happened to get Denzel out of LA. His marriage ended because of this thing that happened 5 years ago, with this double murder that they keep flashing back to with his old partner, and we don't know what it is. and he had a heart attack. And it was just like, whatever happened ruined this dude's life. And now that he's back, he has to take off time from work because he's solving this thing. It is his duty to solve this thing because it's personal. Such an old cop, 90s cliche shit to do. And when you go back and research the movie, and you find out that this thing has been in limbo since the 90s. It was written to be filmed and created and put out in 1990. And when you realize that, you're like, oh, well, now that it's 2021 and every movie like this has already been made, maybe this shouldn't have been made. Once 7 came out, you're like, they did it. Maybe I'll write something else. No. This dude was like, fuck that. My movie is awesome, so I'm making it. And Spielberg was attached at one point to make it. Never got off the ground, so this dude's like, I'm fucking making it myself, dude. And I'll be the writer and I'll be the goddamn director. I get to direct Denzel. There's nothing better. And don't get me wrong, Denzel is amazing in it. Leto is the fucking funniest thing in the movie. And intentionally, he's not like accidentally saying things that are ridiculous for us to be like, oh God, that's bad dialogue. What a silly person. What an unrealistic and silly person. No, this dude says funny shit to taunt the cops. And he gets under their skin. It fucks with them. And you're sitting there like, this is pretty fucking funny. Oh, man. So, this movie didn't need to be made. But whatever, we're watching it. It got made, and now we're watching it, and now we're talking about it. So, the movie continues on. There's like this bizarre Denzel's character is haunted by those women that were killed. And we only see 2 on a rock. And those 2 are ghosts in a closet in a hotel room in a seedy part of LA where there's hookers everywhere. And I live in LA. Not as many hookers as you would think. I know it's 2021. I mean, I've seen some prostitutes, but they're not like littered throughout every fucking corner of Sunset Boulevard. It's not. It's so fucking. They're just like constant sex workers all over the place. It's not how it is. Okay, but anyway, so this dude hangs up all the pictures of his victims or the past victims that he's haunted by, and then they actually haunt him. 2 of the girls are in a closet looking at him while he lays on the bed, and then another girl who we haven't really seen yet is like fucking giving him a foot massage. And then so him and Malik hook up, and there's this thing where it's like it's cut really fast. There's a lot of cuts. There's fucking so many cuts. Cut. Every scene of dialogue. They don't. Nobody lingers on anybody. There's no camera angle that lingers too long on an actor telling some. They immediately cut away while they're talking to something else. And there's moments in this movie where you're like, "Yo, did I miss something? Did I miss a piece of dialogue that then elicits that type of response?" So Denzel gets a he decides he's going to take some time off and he's going to solve the crime. So he decides that because of the most recent murder, there was rotten food in the refrigerator that they were supposed to, the apartment complex's maintenance place was supposed to send somebody over to fix the fridge or replace it. And they had it on the books. They never got around to it. Now that I worked maintenance for apartment complexes, and that's not how it works. They don't send out for some like appliance company to send a maintenance guy in for that apartment complex. You work at that apartment as a maintenance technician. You work there, so you're always on site. It's not. That's not how it works. So already I'm like, nope. So then Denzel goes to this apartment complex, or he goes to the shop that houses appliances, and this dude's staff, and he wants to look at the staff that's working there to see who was supposed to go over there and fix the fridge, but it never got fixed. And it just so happens that Jared Leto works there. So you're like, fuck, that's the guy, dog. That's the guy. Who would have known all this time? 5 years, one of the most successful serial killers of all time, working 5 years, just working at this maintenance place and killing people. And then Denzel just on a hunch finds him in this way. So they start following Leto. And Leto is fucking eating it up. He loves it. Loves it. And they bring him into the interrogation room where they are interrogating him, and he's looking through pictures of dead girls. Rami Malek gives him pictures of dead girls. And there's all this, I think they fingerprint him, but they go to check his fingerprints from fingerprints they found at the crime scene. And it's inconclusive. Every time they go to the fingerprint guy, he's like, it's inconclusive. It's inconclusive. They show him. They show that the fingerprints that they got at the crime scene are full-on fucking fingerprints. Now, I'm not a crime scene worker. I didn't also work maintenance and work for the police department as Dexter, whatever Dexter does, the blood splatter analyst, and then that other dude that fucking did the DNA shit. I was never one of those guys, but I do watch a lot of those fucking crime docs. If you get a fingerprint, I mean, you're pretty much made in the shade. Now, if you get a partial fingerprint, you can still kind of, it's unique to you. That's your fingerprint. I don't also have someone else's fingers. It's not like me and fucking Tom Hardy. I don't know why I picked him, but it's not me and him have the same fingerprint. So it's like, oh man, I wonder who killed this girl. It could be either this comic no one's ever heard of or Tom Hardy. It's because it's inconclusive. So I mean, they've always said forever that fingerprints are like snowflakes, right? They're unique to you. But they're like, I don't know. I mean, you got this guy's fingers right here, and we got the fingerprints, but I don't fucking know, dog. I don't know. So they start to interrogate him, and he loves it. He's sitting there, he's looking at pictures of these dead girls, and he's going, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a dead girl by the, and then flips the picture around, and it's a picture of her feet, and he goes, toe. And they're like, oh, this guy is pure evil. And you're just sitting there watching like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? You wrote that shit? What the fuck, man? So Denzel comes in, and they have the weirdest scene. He comes in and Denzel starts to try to intimidate him. But again, there's like dialogue missing. I don't know. Leto was supposed to say something or whatever, but they must have cut it. And it's a deleted scene because Denzel asks him a question that as a response to something. But we didn't hear anything. Denzel goes, why is that? But but Jared Leto didn't say anything. He didn't say anything to warrant. Denzel's like, let me ask you a question. Why is that? Then he sits down next to him. He's like, gets closer to his face. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? You're like, but what did he say? Why is that what? What are you talking about? Why is that what? What? I need to know what. So he gets all mad, and then he pretends to swing at him and miss, and Leto's not scared, and so I'm not scared, and Denzel's like mad, but it seems kind of phony. It seems weirdly fake, like he doesn't believe it. He doesn't fucking believe that what he's getting all mad about. So they cut him loose because they don't have any evidence. They just have hearsay and conjecture, and then they tell the chief of police tells Malik that Jared Leto, his character, came 10 years ago, confessed to a murder that he didn't commit. They were able to place him somewhere else the time of the murder. So this dude just loves fucking with the police. But Malik doesn't listen to that. It's like, no. Denzel thinks it's him, and I am now a convert to the church of Denzel Washington's character, so I'm going to follow him. Even though he didn't catch anybody 5 years ago, and he's been ousted from this particular police department. And all of Denzel's closest friends, ex-partners, and your fucking boss is saying, don't trust this guy. And he does it anyway. But the reason for it, there's like this pressure that if Malik doesn't solve the case by Monday, the feds are coming in. No. The FBI can't come in and solve this case. Let me ask you a question. When are the fucking FBI supposed to jump in on a case? Because it has literally been 5 years since this dude has been killing, and they're just now deciding to fucking join in? What the fuck are the FBI doing? Why is it going to take them to the weekend? Why are they like, look, we'll give the LAPD Saturday and Sunday, but fucking Monday rolls around. You know that I sleep in on Saturdays, and then I go golfing. I got to hang out with the juice. That man's never done anything wrong. And they're going to... So fucking we have this arbitrary time frame for Malik he has to solve his shit. And then so they decide they're going to follow Jared Leto. Again, the only evidence they have is that he just happens to be one of the guys that works at that fucking maintenance place. But they never interview any other maintenance guys. They just go, it's Leto. Because look at him. Because he is fucking weird looking. And the best part about that is that Jared Leto gained a bunch of weight for the role, even though this man that he's portraying is fictional. And it's really unhealthy to gain that much weight in a very short amount of time. Any doctor will tell you that. It doesn't matter if you're an actor. You're not exempt. You're not exempt from that. Because you're going to be on camera, man. Any dramatic weight gain or weight loss is going to fuck up your system. And Leto gets gout because of it. For real. He for real gets gout. But we never see him with his shirt off. So what the fuck did he do that for? It's this movie. The behind the scenes shit and the shit that happens on camera is so fucking funny. Like, it's so, like, dude, you endangered your health for the dumbest reason. And it didn't even matter. You never take your shirt off. You're just fat under that thing. You just have a gut under your shirt. Wear a fucking fat suit. If your character... And why does that character need to be out of shape? Why does he need to be out of shape? Skinny guys are just as scary as big guys. Any guy is scary. What the fuck? Oh my God. So this scene was when it's really I'm like starting to catch on that I'm like I don't think they understand what they're doing. I mean, I'm speaking from a very pompous point of view, like, dude, if you fucking gave me the camera and the pen and the paper, I could write a fucking much better movie. I mean, obviously, it takes a lot to get a movie off the ground, and so the grandiosity of myself to say, like, what the fuck, man. But still, though, like, if you're in the writer's room and someone's just like, someone sees this scene, nobody in the writer's room. So this is what happens. So they need to break into Jared Leto's place, even though they don't have a warrant. So they're just going to break in, which is illegal. But since Denzel Washington's character is on vacation, he's just going to go do that to find evidence. Okay, fine, whatever. And so Malik calls up Leto and says, yo, sorry about today. Let me buy you a beer. When in the history of cops and robbers has that shit ever happened? When the fuck would a detective who just accused you of rape and murder is like, hey, yo, my bad. Let me take you out for a beer, homie. That would never happen. Ever. That would never happen. So, okay. So Leto says fine, and they go. Or no, he goes. Excuse me. He goes, and then Malik's like, I'll honk when he's coming back. So you're ditching him? Wouldn't it make so much more sense to actually meet the man for the drink? Right? If you want to stall the guy, go have a fucking drink with him like you said you would. No. I'm going to stand him up. That way, I could just fucking bounce with you when you're done. But then, of course, Jared Leto's like, what's taking him so long? Obviously, I'm the smartest person in this movie. They're fucking with me. So he calls the cops and says that there's an officer who's been shot at his apartment, in his apartment. Why did you say your... Because they go to his apartment. And I think they go into his apartment. I'm almost positive. I only watched it the one time. But I'm almost positive. Yeah. Yeah. They go. I think they go into his place. If I'm wrong, who cares? It doesn't matter. Even still, why officer down? Why don't you just say robbery? I think that, like, he's trying to get Denzel shot. So right at that moment, he hears that cops are coming. So because Leto has a police scanner in his house, and he also has a floorboard where he keeps a bunch of clippings from newspapers about this particular murder case and all the murders that have happened over this span of 5 years. And you're like, okay, so he's the guy, right? But other than that, they don't have any other evidence, and Denzel couldn't wait long enough. And before all this, this woman is on a jog with a guy who's got a red hair clip, has a red hair. She always wears a red hair clip in her hair, and then she goes jogging off by herself, and a car follows her. And then when Malik meets up with her parents to discuss the missing person, they tell him about the red hair clip, which is very important for later. Okay, so take that, put it in your pocket. Later. So then, okay, so the cops come and Denzel is surrounded on all sides. So he climbs up on the roof, which is so silly. Why don't you just flash your badge and say, like, hey, I'm a police officer and I'm investigating. I know that you just broke into this guy's house and you need to get out. But once you're out, just say, like, I'm a cop, I'm here with him, and I was here with him, he also got the call. You flash your badge and you walk down, and then Malik comes and meets you, and then you guys fucking, you wink at each other, and then you just go, yeah, we were here, we didn't find anything. But they don't do that. He hops up on the roof, and he's like 60 years old. So they have to cut a bunch of times for him to even get up there. It looks like it's hard because Denzel's an old man now, and climbing is hard. Climbing's hard if you're young. I fucking have the hardest time climbing stuff. Like I'm always just climbing shit. So he climbs up on the roof, even though he's surrounded on all sides, which is why he climbed up on the roof in the first place. Then he climbs down one side that happens to just not have cops at it. Then Malik picks him up from that side, and then they're fine. But what? Okay, whatever with that part. Let's just shove that to the side and not even discuss how ridiculous that is. 'Cause it is. But why didn't you guys just break into his place when he was at work? He's at work 8 to 12 hours at a day. Let's say it takes this dude has like 3 cars. He picks a car. Let's say I can't remember where they say he lives. I think they say he lives in like North Hollywood and he works in fucking Hollywood. That takes about 15 minutes, no traffic. Half an hour, maybe even more, depending on how bad traffic is in LA, because traffic is fucking horrible. So you got a half an hour to an hour of traffic for him to get to a job where he works 8-hour days, maybe more, depending on what the fuck's going on, because people in apartment complexes are always having shit break. And then he's got an hour. You got at least 10 to 12 hours of your daytime to break into this dude's house and do whatever you want in there. Why did you pick a 15-minute window at night when the guy's coming home whenever? And you didn't go, oh my God. So they decide after that, even though they find these clippings and they're like, okay, I didn't find a red hair clip. I didn't find any other evidence other than this, which still says to me, I'm no policeman. I'm no detective. But if I were, I would think that this dude loves what he even says he's a crime buff. And so my thinking is he's just a guy who is into fucking serial killers. but never actually pulled the trigger himself, so he just fucks with the cops. That's a weird person. Apparently they exist. I don't know to this extent, but they're out there. I've heard of that. So, okay, I can believe that. But this dude gets a lot of joy. But it's like almost internalized. Like, he's not a cackling, maniacal, crazy person who's laughing at these cops for making bad decisions or the wrong choice. Like, oh no, I'm not the guy, but I made you think I was the guy. Fucking smarter than you. He just like, he almost looks like he's kind of over it, but because they're so hot on his trail, like they so badly want him to be the guy that he's just like, yo, all right, I got literally nothing else going on. I sold one of my cars and I fucking take the bus to a titty bar. And also, if you want to go back in there, because Denzel says he wants to go back in there, Jared Leto takes a city bus to the fucking strip club. And it's like, you could have done it there. You could have done it then. Go back in the fucking house. Why would Leto leave again? Why wouldn't they go into the place? They said they were going into the place. No, they just follow him. They follow him to the strip club. Then they wait out there until he's done. Then he gets back on a bus and then he goes home, and they just, holy fucking shit. So, Jesus Christ. So then they're sitting there staking the place out, and now all of a sudden we're seeing Malik's craziness. He's a crazy guy, right? He's not right. He's not all there all of a sudden. He was a church-going man who never cursed, and he was by the book and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And now, because of Denzel, he's just like, fuck it. And he starts cursing, and Denzel's all surprised, like, oh shit, this guy curses. This guy's crazy. Like, look how crazy he is. He's punching the window. He's so mad now. He was this reserved, strict guy who loved his children and just wanted to solve cases for the people that perished. And now he's fucking, I gotta get him. Completely out of character. Completely out of character. So you're like, okay, this is okay. They're showing me that this dude is like, he's sick of this shit. And he wants to get Leto because he knows that it's him. But why do you know it's him? There's no way that it's him. At this point, as a viewer, I don't believe it's him. They've made it very clear that Leto is not the guy, and he's not going to be the guy. And if he is the guy, this is a terrible twist. So you don't want it to be him. At a certain point, you're like, there's not enough evidence, and we're spending too much time on this shit for this to be him. He's got to be someone else, and so go find that guy. Maybe Leto knows him. Maybe that's where it's going. Maybe they're going to interrogate him. They're going to break the law again and do something fucked up and get him to confess who the actual guy is. And I don't know who the actual guy could be. It doesn't need to be someone we've already seen, like it's a cop or some shit, or it's fucking one of Denzel's family members, like we don't need to see that it's someone close to us. We just need them to get back on the trail of the actual murderer. Because they keep flashing back to Denzel looking for the guy 5 years ago during this time, and Malik is along for the ride. So then, like, Malik is going through his own struggles at the exact same time that we're seeing Denzel go through his struggles back in the day. So we cut back to the present. Denzel leaves the car outside of Leto's place. Malik is still sitting there. He's gonna go get them coffee. And this is when the movie nosedives completely into ridiculous, absolutely unfathomable. That's how you say that? Unfathomable? Absolutely, I can't even think of another word. Absolutely stupid, like me. Completely ridiculous. What happens next? Denzel's gone. Leto calls the payphone that's outside. Who knew 90s kids, 90s babies, 2000s, the early aughts teenagers, did any one of you know the phone number to a payphone? I didn't even know payphones had their own phone number. I really didn't. Every time I'd go into a fucking Denny's and they had a payphone, I assumed that that was only for outgoing. So somebody could pick you up. So Malik gets out of his car, goes and picks up the phone, and nobody picks up. And then he's like, hello? And then immediately Leto is behind him. So you just left your phone off the hook and you were sitting there waiting for him to answer it? Great. So Malik pulls his gun on him and makes him fucking press his body up against the fence and then interlace his fingers. And then he doesn't cuff him. Then he lets him go. Then Leto says he'll show Malik where the runners, the girl runner girl, the lady who's missing. He'll show Malik where her body is buried. Just get in my car. And any person, not even a police officer, any person with a fucking brain and a sense of stranger danger would not get in this dude's car. Not even for a second. Even if you had a gun. Even if you had a gun and you were pressing against his temple, you wouldn't get in this guy's goddamn car. Why? Because you have no idea where he's going to take you. There's no cell phones because it's 1990. So what? So wouldn't you think that Malik, hearing that Leto is going to show him where the bodies are, you would arrest him for confessing, call in backup, and then make Leto take you to where the bodies are? And if that doesn't work, whatever. Then you follow him and then you eventually find out he's not the guy. Because he's not the fucking guy. Like, even now, you're just sitting there like, he's not the guy. And he so doesn't take this shit seriously that at one point before Malik gets in the car, he's like, hurry up, I got work tomorrow. Knowing full well he's taking him nowhere to show him nothing. So if you're Malik, don't you think to yourself, why would this dude think he's going to work tomorrow? He's obviously fucking with me. Not the guy. I'm going to grab Den and I'm going to bounce. Me and my new partner are getting the fuck out of here so the rest of the movie can make more sense. But instead, Malik gets in the car. And they take off. And then Denzel, old-ass Denzel, sees them take off, runs to the car, starts it up, and then tries to find them. And finds them no problem. He fucking loses them, and then he finds them. He's like right on their tail, even though they have several blocks worth of a head start. How Denzel found them is just movie logic. Ridiculous movie logic. So Leto takes Malik fucking North California, where all the mountain ranges are, and the dirt and the desert is. And he points at a spot, an arbitrary spot in the middle of this fucking desert, and tells Malik that's where she's buried. Then throws him a shovel and tells him to start digging. And Malik says no at first. And you're like, yeah, now you're kind of using your head. And then Leto goes, hey man, I'm not doing it. You want to find the body, you got to do it. And then he does it. Why don't you just make Leto get you back in the car, take you back to LA, get your cop buddies, and then just go back to that spot? No. Instead, Malik turns his back to Leto, and he starts digging holes. And then as soon as he starts he digs one hole, and Leto goes, oh no, sorry, it's actually over here. Walks 10 fucking paces in the complete opposite direction and makes him start digging there. And again, wouldn't you think he's fucking with me? I'm not digging another hole. Malik is so strung out over this He starts digging another hole, and you're like, that's the last hole. If he does this again, if he tells you that there's another spot where you got to dig, you got to know now, in your heart, in your soul, your cop fucking logic, everything you learn about just being a human being and pyramid schemes and fucking Scientology, that you're being fucked with, and you should stop doing what you're doing. They cut to Denzel finding out exactly the road he needs to get to. They cut to back in the day when Denzel's searching through the forest 5 years ago to find the killer because there's 2 dead girl bodies and we're missing one, and he's trying to find out where she might be and or where the killer is. Then we cut back to the present day, and Malik has dug at least 3 to 4 more holes. Why is he digging so many fucking holes? What are you doing? Stop digging holes! Stop digging so many holes! Have you never seen holes? At a certain point, those guys stopped digging holes. And they fucking rose up and they were like, no more hole digging. I am not digging any more holes, Sigourney Weaver. Malik dug so many holes. Why? Now Leto is walking behind him, taunting him. Put the shovel down, dog. Get back in the car and leave. He gets Malik's newfound anger, comes out of nowhere, and while Leto is taunting him, he fucking gets so irate that this fat, skinny-faced, fat gut-having lunatic is taunting him about his children. Malik swings back and with all the force in the world hits Leto in the fucking face with a goddamn shovel and fucking kills him. And as soon as that happened, I was like, we're not going to find out who the real killer is. It's fucking over. The movie's over now. Once he did that, you're like, this is what it's about. This is what it's been about the entire fucking time, and I knew it before they even flashed back to it. As soon as they did, I'm like, he kills somebody. He kills somebody that's not the guy. And fuck. He's Denzel, they flash back 5 years later, and Denzel is behind a bush or something. He can't see. He hears a rustling of leaves and bushes from behind another bush, pulls out his gun and fires wildly into the bush and kills somebody. Even if it was the guy, even if it was the murderer, you still shouldn't have done that. What the fuck are you doing? Are you new to the job? Are you a rookie? You're supposed to be the greatest detective of all time, a super cop, the best in LA, and you get scared by a noise and fucking fire into what are you, a cartoon character? Why the fuck did you do that? Why the fuck did you shoot into the bushes? Then he kills this girl and the fucking precinct covers it up. That's the twist. So then when Denzel finds them and sees that Leto has been bashed in the head with a shovel and Malik's all distraught, what does he do? He fucking covers that up too. Cool. Then later on, Denzel has to do all this work to make it look like Leto was the guy. Ends up sending, oh my God, he ends up sending Malik a red hair clip, making Malik think that he found it in the guy's apartment, so Malik doesn't feel so bad for killing a guy. But he's not the guy. Okay, so Denzel, what happens when the real killer kills someone else? What the fuck are you gonna do then? You guys are just gonna be like, Leto climbed out of that hole and wasn't dead? What's the plan? What is the plan when this dude starts killing again? They're gonna find out that you guys fucked that shit up. How are they not gonna find out? You fucking did not think this through. And the thing is that they're all good in the movie. Malik's being weird as shit, but everyone's acting Oscar caliber. Leto is crushing it. Denzel is amazing. He's a tortured soul. But this movie, at a certain point, is so ridiculously out of touch with itself. It doesn't even understand the movies it's even trying to emulate anymore, because those movies had to place some sort of logic in with what the characters were doing and the decisions that had to be made based on what was happening in the story. You just have guys doing stuff for no reason, so we could be like, oh God, what's going to happen? Are they going to make it? And then they do or they don't, and you're like, I don't give a fuck. They shouldn't have been there in the fucking first place. If you would have changed the whole trajectory by having them make much smarter decisions, not even much smarter decisions, slightly more intelligent, the fucking obvious choice was to not. The obvious choice for every character that's not the killer was to not. And they do. So that then all of this shit happens and you're like, who's actually worse here? Is it the fucking guy, the killer we don't know, or is it all of you fucking idiots making really dumb decisions? It's like, oh man. So you're like, I gotta find my enjoyment somewhere, and I think it's hilarious. It has to be. It has to be funny. That's the only way I can come out of this going like, boy, you guys didn't fuck up, because I at least enjoyed myself not enjoying the movie I thought I was going to see. Instead, I'm enjoying something completely out of left field. And with that, I want to share some messages from people. I did a review of it on my Instagram, at Kane Holloway on Instagram, and I did a review, and fucking... I got one from people had so much to say. This woman, Alex, follows me on Instagram. I said that I give it 4 out of 10. What I said was, it starts out an 8, slows to a 6 in the middle, and then at the end drops to a 3. Jared Leto's character is really funny, so it pops up to a 4, because I laughed all the time. So I gave it 4 out of 10. And Alex says, very accurate, but for fuck's sakes, I was so pumped for this. We've got Denzel the Man Washington on set, and to be honest, I've got such a crush on Sam Esmail. I don't know who that is. He's a weird-looking motherfucker, but he does it for me. And even so, I can't fuck this movie. 2 out of 10. Then we got, let's see here. The Alan Brand says, so wait, dude is haunted by the murders of these hookers, but like him and his cop buddies actually killed her and they covered it up. Then he forgot it and then went on this whole thing to frame Leto because Leto was fucking weird. And then Malik kills Leto because he was so up his own ass with Denzel's shit that he couldn't see that he was chasing the wrong guy. And then Denzel covers it up and makes it look like he actually was the guy. Fuck this movie. Awesome. Gabe Siegel, the breakfast scene with Remy's wife was like 30 plus cuts. There was so many cuts in this fucking movie. Jennifer said, I think you explained how I feel better than I could. I was so excited about this. Then I was like, And then I said, yeah, this movie's trash. And she goes, it is, but like it wants so hard to be good. Like I kept waiting for it to get really good and it didn't. Also, Rami Malek spends the entire movie giving Denzel fuck me eyes. That's so fucking funny because he fucking absolutely does. That is 100% the way that Malek is fucking looking at him. He's just like, dude, like, are they gonna kiss? You fucking better. It's the only thing that makes sense in this movie. Adam Sanchez, stupid fucking movie. So many people fucking hated it. I haven't been this hyped to talk about a movie in a while just because it was so funny how we all felt the exact same about it. How we were like, oh, yes, this is my jam. And then it wasn't. And you just gotta laugh. You just gotta laugh. That's my review of The Little Things. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're at all interested, subscribe to the show. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel. All the links are in both the descriptions, in the audio version and the video version. You can follow me at Kane Holloway on Instagram. And follow the show at wellactuallypod on Instagram. We got a bunch of cool shit coming up. Fucking Saturday. Let me double check before all of my things run out of battery. Hurry. Let's see. Yes. 7 o'clock on Saturday the 6th, we are doing a live on Instagram episode of the movie Con Air, where we're going to do a roundtable pizza quiz of the movie Con Air with Holly Brown and Brad Lewandowski, of course, my two other co-hosts. And they didn't watch this movie. That's why they're not here doing this one. But yeah, so subscribe to all the shit. If you're also interested in more bonus episodes, we do patreon.com/wellactuallypod. And we have other quizzes and shit like that. So, yeah, check that shit out. Come see us live. We're going to be doing it on our personal. Follow Holly at Holly Brown Comedy. Yeah, Holly Brown Comedy on Instagram. And Brad Doesn't Gram. Brad Doesn't Gram on Instagram. And that's the end of the show. And peace the fuck out.